So Helen, you are the absolute master at taking mums from busy to balanced, and I of course believe I'm the expert with Howard's products. So I like the idea of actually sharing with the Howard's customers. Well, what does it really take to get going? How do we get started being organised?
Sure. The first thing is to actually recognise the fact that there is a problem. And you know what? I could come into your home, and from my perspective, it may look like a display home, or it may be right at the other end of the spectrum and look completely disorganised. So you can live in any kind of home as long as it's working for you. It's when it's not working for you that you need to then recognise there's something I really need to do about this.
So the concept of organisation is different for different people. That's
Absolutely,
what you're saying.
absolutely. And
Okay.
the level and the feeling of overwhelm can be different for different people as well. You may look calm and wonderful from the outside, but really you're feeling overwhelmed with what's going on in your space.
I suppose it's a telltale sign when you won't have people come over to your house, or you can't get somewhere on time, or you feel like you are being stressed around your children. And even if you don't have children, if you just feel stressed in your whole world, then often it means that you need to sort out your home.
Absolutely. And there's probably going to be one or two areas that really are impacting.
So what are some of the classic things that you do to help busy mums to become balanced?
The first thing I usually do is actually ask them to stop, take a step back. And as much as it's really difficult for busy mums to do some self-care. Even if it's having a cup of tea on your own, on your back deck.
That sounds good, yes.
Or, a facial or a pedicure or something with a girlfriend. If you can actually stop, particularly if you're in that real overwhelm.
Take some time out.
Take some time out, because then you can actually reconnect with what's important to you and your family. And if you can do that, you can then start to work out what it is you want from your home and work toward that.
Sometimes we place the bar ridiculously high, and it's just not necessary, is it?
Completely not necessary. And quite often we're comparing ourselves to our friend, our mother, our sister, our neighbour, and we don't really know what's going on for them because we're just seeing the external reality. So if we can actually switch off and just think about ourselves and what works for us, set up a system that works for our family in our home, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if what I do in my home doesn't work for you. If you're doing something completely different in the same area of the home and it's working, perfect.
So where do you get started then? After you've stopped, what do you do next?
There are a couple of different places you can start. So once you've made the decision, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get started.
You're creating that vision for yourself.
Exactly, the vision for yourself and your family. So you can start in the area that's causing you the most grief.
Okay.
Now, for a lot of people, this could be the office.
Right.
Could be the pantry, the garage, often that laundry production process, because it just goes on forever, doesn't it?
You never feel as though you get to the end of it.
You never do, because there's always new clothes to fold or put away. So you can start in the area that's causing you the most grief. You can start at the front door. And I actually really like starting at the front door.
It's a nice place to start, yes.
It's lovely. Well, we open our front door and we welcome people in to our homes. So if we can have a beautifully organised front door area, it's kind of letting that beautiful energy in and welcoming new things in, whether that's people or experiences.
One of the things that I find interesting is that people will often use the excuse that they haven't got started. It takes too much time, or it's going to cost me too much money. And it couldn't be further from the truth, could it?
Absolutely. The amount of times I've worked with clients who've said the same thing, but then when we actually get started, it's much quicker.
Yes.
And sometimes we, for example, look at the junk drawer and go, oh, it's going to take me forever. But it might only take you 10 minutes to sort through all of that and then have it all sorted. So that procrastination and getting started can actually be worse than if you actually just get in and do it.
So do you think a good strategy then is to start with a small project and then work your way up, encourage yourself?
I think it depends on the personality of the person doing the organising and how overwhelmed they're feeling. If you are completely overwhelmed, start somewhere really small. And that can even be your handbag. Or it could be the shoes that are all dumped at the front door and getting a nice box to put all the shoes in. Could be the junk drawer. But it could be somewhere really big. For example, if you're running your own business from your home, maybe your whole office needs a complete overhaul. And in that case, you'd probably call in an expert because it's a big job and there's the big process involved around
It's
organising
an
it.
interesting point you raise. I think having an external set of eyes, somebody who's not emotionally connected to the space, can really make you question and evaluate whether you need something and whether you've even got a system in place in the first place.
Exactly. And as long as you have a system that works for you, that's all that matters. I worked on an office many years ago and there were about 16 steps from the moment a piece of mail came in to the filing of it. It's way too many steps to actually,
Keep control of it.
control of it. It's ridiculous. So make the systems as simple as you possibly can. And that way also, if you have them simple, chances are your family will be able to follow them as well.
I think that's one of the most critical points, isn't it? It's not just about you. I think it's about every member of your household being involved in the system. And that's the reason why having a genuine system infrastructure in place can make the difference between just a tidy up and a little bit of a reorganise to putting a proper system in place. Totally fundamentally changes everything, doesn't it?
And if you get those other little people and big people on board to help set up the system, chances are they'll be more likely to actually do it as well.
So, Helen, why should an organised New Year start with me?
Because you are the driving force in your home. You're the one there helping your family get organised, get out the door on time, have all those systems in place. It's up to you. And I know you can do it. It doesn't take as long as you think.
You're absolutely right. And we've both seen in our professional lives so many examples of wonderful work that people have done in their homes. And they stand back and they go, why didn't I do this earlier? So for heaven's sakes, I mean, I say to anybody who'll listen, just get started. You will never look back. It's just wonderful.
Exactly. Start somewhere, start small, start wherever. Just get started.
Yeah, and you can do it.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.